Leave your comments on the Ask Reddit sub, and I'll read your answers on the next episode of LWIAR 2. George Carlin said, think of how stupid the average person is, and realize half of them are stupider than that. What real-life example have you seen that validates this view? There is a considerable overlap between the intelligence of the smartest bears and the dumbest tourists. Yosemite Park ranger on why it's hard to design a bear-proof garbage can. I genuinely thought that was about to be a Yogi Bear quote. Hey boo-boo, we're smarter than the average tourist. Oh man, it's true. I've struggled with bear-proof storage containers before. It's embarrassing. Edit. Embarrassing. Man, after baby-proofing my kitchen, getting things out of drawers is hands down the most difficult part of cooking now, and the baby still gets into crap that's baby-proofed and kicks my butt like it's nothing. You have 5 seconds to figure out how to open a baby-proof drawer while cooking. A baby has all the time in the world. Also, doesn't help that kids that small have insane levels of neuroplasticity and can and will learn everything and anything they are physically capable of doing faster than an adult can. BC their brains are set to sponge and multiply mode, while adult brains are set on let's throw out a frick ton of brain cells. BC we haven't used them in a hot second. I used to work in Banff National Park. One day at the end of a tour I was driving some guests back to their hotel, and the woman was adamant that Banff was clearly a very dangerous place to visit since we just let wild animals run around everywhere. They should be in cages. Had to fight the urge to throw her off the bus pretty hard. Some other gems that came up in the past include a guest insisting he needed to change money they got in BC to Alberta currency. Not a real thing. A man arrived very irate that the entire Trans-Canada Highway was not lit with proper street lamps every 100 yards. That would be a stunning waste of energy. Not to mention probably cost more than our national budget. And your car has lights on it. More than if you have grossly underestimated the distances involved in a country like Canada. No, you cannot drive from Calgary to Toronto and back in the same day for lunch at the CN Tower. No, you cannot drive from Calgary to Toronto and back in the same day for lunch at the CN Tower. Well, not legally. Anyway, carrot. Edit. Wow, I wasn't expecting this much interest in my offhand joke. Carrot. I'm actually planning to do this trip in a day with a Dogsall team. Just for the challenge, you understand? Honestly, if you can pull it off illegally, you deserve an award. Probably a Darwin Award. I doubt you could make that return trip in one day on a commercial airline. I had a foreign exchange student from Holland stay at my house in BC. I asked him what he wanted to see while in Canada, and he asked if we could go check out Niagara Falls one afternoon. Crazy how some people just don't have a concept of how huge Canada is. I think especially people from a country that you could drive across in 5 hours. I've heard stories of European tourists visiting the US and thinking they can take a quick road trip from NY to Vegas. Hell, I've talked to Europeans who are interested when I tell them I'm from near Philadelphia. How they want to plan a trip to see Philly, historical sites, etc. There was the one who said, and while I'm there, I'll take a day trip to Pittsburgh since it's in Pennsylvania. Too. Sure, if you want to wake up at 3 a.m., drive 5 hours, stay for the day, leave around dinner and get back at midnight. And that's just one state. That's not even that big compared to many others. Edit. For reference, I took my now wife to Newport for her birthday 1 year. We were in 5 different states. PA, NJ, NY, CT and RE, on the drive, and it was a shorter trip than Philly to Pittsburgh. Americans think 100 years is a long time, while Europeans think 100 miles is a long distance. 100 miles used to be my round-trip work commute every day, haha. This is the kind of thing I point out when people from the EU tell us we have such cheap gas. Yeah, it's half the price, but we have to use 3 times as much of it. Of course, for the last couple of months, my commute has been the length of my house. But that's neither here nor there. Edit. Time zones are neat. I could tell almost to the minute when those in the EU woke up. Got on Reddit, saw my comment, and started coming up with anecdotes about a place most of them have never been. Bottleneck this morning in the hallway. Expect a 8 to 10 second delay in your morning commute. Traffic updates every 11 minutes. Stay tuned. I worked at a bank. Mobile depositing had just become a thing. We received a picture of someone's cash for deposit. Yay. That's some big brain mega money crap right there. Was it Zuckerberg? See bro, just wait like 2 hours and take another photo of the same cash and deposit it again. And again and again. Whoa. Instant money, yeah bro. Instant money. Frick, we're gonna be so rich off this $84. You mean our $168 bucks? People that stupid can't multiply 84 by 2. Am I missing a joke here? I am fairly sure. 84 times 2 is 168. Edit. Alright boys, I get it now. I am a dumb frick. A woman I used to work with who insisted that any animal could reproduce with any other animal. She believed that sperm from any animal was the same and that DNA was irrelevant. She believed this because she once saw some sickly, possibly deformed puppies and decided that they must have been half dog and half rat. Ah yes, rat terriers. They are called chihuahuas and that's just how they look. Holy crap, I used to have a manager who typed the same thing. She also admitted to me once that she thought the majority of diseases were caused by actual supernatural possession. The exchange I had with her over the animals thing was baffling. Must have been half dog and half rat. Who are you who are so wise in the ways of science? I am Arthur, King of the Britons. If she ever saw a centaur she'd probably be buying lots of horse sperm. Ends up with a reverse centaur. So like a minotaur. Nah, like a BoJack Horseman. Not bad actually. He was in a very famous TV show back in the 90s, after all. The fact Florida had to tell people not to shoot at the hurricane. There were people in Adana, Turkey that shot at the sun because it was too hot. When your only tool is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. But at least nobody with actual access or the power to authorize the use of nuclear weapons would ever have an idea that blindingly stupid. No, take it back. Take your comment back. When little Donald heard the news, he rubbed his tiny hands and wrote a tweet to share his views across the seas and lands. I have a plan, the man exclaimed. I have a ploy, he said, and unabashed and unashamed, he shook his orange head. The time is now, he spoke, and so, he pushed the switch with pride, and little Donald watched it go, and everybody died. SOS. I know some really smart people, really smart people, and they're telling me, they're saying, this could work. Open hands. I know some okay sign really smart people, hand waving really okay sign smart people. And open hands they're telling me, index pointing up they're saying, okay sign this could work open hands. One of my nieces had a cold as a toddler and was breathing through her mouth. My ex-Bill flipped out because he didn't want her to get carbon monoxide poisoning from breathing through her mouth instead of her nose. The normal way. Pensive face. I read things like this and start asking myself, why would anyone think this? How would this even work? And then I realize, this is a kind of stupid I don't want to understand. Yeah, I used to try and educate people like this. Then I realized it's like playing chess with a pigeon. They'll just crap all over the board and strut around like they've won regardless. Well, oxygen is O2, so you need to breathe it in through 2 holes. Your nose. Mono means 1. So if you breathe in using only 1 hole, your mouth, you get way more carbon monoxide, leading to poisoning. The real question is what you get when you use 3 holes to breathe. When my daughter was born, we had to see the hospital pediatrician before we could switch to our usual one. We're in a tiny exam room and he's going over the do's and don'ts for new parents. To precede this, he's an older southern man, and I assume she will be sleeping in a crib in the nursery. We have a bassinet set up beside the bed to make night feeding easier. She can't sleep with you. She won't be in the bed. She has a bassinet beside the bed. If she sleeps in the same room, there will be too much carbon dioxide and she'll suffocate. That's what causes SIDS. Then ISNT this exam room unsafe. We put in a complaint with the practice and the hospital. That's some ridiculously incorrect information to be spouting off at people. Especially parents who take everything a doctor says as gospel. I can't even find the logic in that. Not only this but also co-sleeping in the same room is shown to reduce the incidence of SIDS. It is thought that the baby hears you breathing and it helps them self-regulate. Yep, The closer they are, the more they regulate. It's theorized that part of why kangaroo care helps NICU babies. I teach 6th grade. One time a parent came to me after trying to help their child with math homework and asked, "What number is X worth? It feels like it changes with every problem." Quote, "I don't know if this is satire or not, but good job." It is not. The parent came to me after school, without their child, because they knew something was wrong and didn't want to look stupid in front of their kid. This is filed in my brain of parent reactions I can't fathom. Along with the mom that year who asked if her child could play piano in marching band. Piano in marching band. The more I think about it, a guitar could spice up some of those Sousa marches. My high school marching band had an electric guitar, so it's not an impossibility. Gotta find a music teacher that's adventurous. On 9/11, the general manager called his daughter who was attending ASU to wake her up and make sure she saw what was going on. The customer service manager said, "It won't be on her TV yet. Arizona is 2 hours behind us." Why didn't Australia warn us about 9/11s? After all, they are several hours ahead. Reminds me of a Facebook post that went, "Just found out China is like 12 hours in front of US. Why didn't they tell US about 9/11s? Frick China, 3 billion people died, not verbatim but close." Fun fact about China: as large as the country is, the Chinese government makes the entire country be on one time zone. Essentially it would be like East Coast and West Coast America operating the same hours. I worked at Little Caesars and we were proofing the dough for pizza. My boss said, at 7 p.m., that the dough needed to rise for 12 hours, and took out her calculator to do the math. So I said, that's gonna be 7 a.m. Then she said the dough will expire in 48 hours and started doing the math again. I told her it would expire 2 days from now, and she said that's kinda weird how that works out, huh? I quit shortly after that. Let's see, 7 plus 12 equals 19, but there's number 19 p.m. How would that work? Her probably. The most surprising thing here for me is that Little Caesars bakes fresh dough, and actually bothers with a long leavening time. Sounds like she didn't know how to tell time. Surprised she knew how to use a calculator. Why would you quit? You could have tricked her into paying you double for working half the hours. Just scroll down a web page or Facebook feed and have a look at the ads. Things like, only 2% can solve this puzzle, crap like that. Those ads get posted so much because they actually work on a lot of people. Ugh, these are the worst. Only 5% of people are smart enough to get this right. Can you? And then it's usually some stupid grade school riddle that I've known the answer to since I was 7. Or some complicated math equation that any middle schooler who remembers PEMDAS could easily solve. I actually had people on my Facebook who would share their results for these tests. Like, OMG, look how smart I am. I knew the answer. I mean, sure, there are probably people who wouldn't be able to answer these, but it's definitely not 95%. And if you're dumb enough to actually believe that only 5% of the people who read that post can solve it, and feel like knowing the answer somehow gives you bragging rights, you're definitely not winning any intelligence awards. My favorite: those see what your fandom, whatever, name is based on your date of birth, hometown, first and last letters of your mom's maiden name, etc. Things. Like you have a chart, and people post their results. And it's a goldmine for anyone looking for the answers to those pesky security questions, LMAO. There are still people who fall for, if you post your password it comes up as asterisk. Watch. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Big penis lover 1010. Wow. It works. Hunter 2. I'm an insurance claims adjuster. If you truly knew how many stupid drivers you're sharing the road with, you'd never drive again. Edit, because I keep getting this question. I avoid driving whenever possible. I have a car, but I take the bus to from work. I never drive at night. I work in highway safety. Can confirm. I can no longer count on 2 hands the number of people I've stopped within the middle lane of traffic on a freeway, with no bigger problem than a flat tire, when I question them as to why they stopped in the middle of a freeway. The typical answer is either the vehicle wouldn't go any further, or they don't want to damage their rim. I swear to whatever you want me to swear to. People will put the well-being of the rim on their car above their own safety and even the safety of their children. And the weird thing is, it makes perfect sense to them. There was a lady a few years in Chicago that stopped her car in the middle of the expressway for some reason. We don't know why, because she and her 2 sons were killed in the ensuing accident. At the start of working from home due to COVID, I had a few users submit tickets for connectivity issues. These tickets got through 2 lines of support before landing in my queue. Turns out that the corporate Wi-Fi doesn't follow you home and you need home internet in order to connect to the VPN. I recently spent 20 minutes on the phone with a board member, trying to diagnose why his camera wasn't working for our online meetings. Funny thing, you have to actually have a camera in order for it to work. That's freaking hilarious, in the saddest way possible. In grade 10, we had a science test, and the teacher gave 1 point for putting a date on the paper, and 1 point for your name on the paper, and then there were 98 points for the rest of the test. A guy sitting in front of me got 0.5, 100 didn't write the date and only wrote his first name. I think it's kind of stupid that putting the date on the paper still counted for credit in grade 10. I feel like they grade it in elementary school just to instill it as good practice, but it's meaningless later on. Sounds like he purposefully failed. Pro tip, write the date and your name 50 times each. Easier. 2nd grade. I saw that happen in high school. The next day the teacher was just savage, publicly calling it out. 30+ years later I still remember him starting out the class congratulating Todd on doing so well on the test. But next time, he didn't need to hand in 2 copies. Oh, and by the way, I didn't get anything handed in by Mike. Sorry Mike, you get a 0. University professor, I have caught it at this level. The woman that called into a radio station to complain about the deer crossing signs on a highway, saying that the deer will see the sign and consider this place a safe place to cross the road. www.youtube.com. This is a perfect example of this. What boggles my mind is how she actually sounds rather intellectual and is decently well spoken. So for someone to be so damn off base is so crazy to me. I just for the life of me can't understand her point of view. Anyone can sound intellectual. When I was in high school, we were reading a short story about what would have happened if the Japanese attacked us back with nuclear weapons after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. A girl in my class raised her hand and said something along the lines of, "Why does this matter? None of it is real anyway." The teacher had to ask her to clarify. But this girl thought World War II and the bombing of Japan were just from a movie and they didn't actually happen. The best part is, the girl was half Japanese. Edit. Wow, thank you for all of the upvotes. I have a ton more stories about this girl, so maybe I'll post some on a different subreddit soon. Wow, her mind must have been blown when she found out World War II happened. Wait until she hears about World War I. Thanks for watching LWIAR 2. The best of all time r/AskReddit submissions and comments. If you like this video, check out the original LWIAR channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe.